Today we'll take a short but intense look at how to adjust your 2-point tremolo guitar. Every time I get a new guitar, I have to adjust the guitar to my preferences, and I think this is something that everybody is doing. Today I would like to show you my couple of steps which I usually use to adjust the guitar. The first thing I would do is I would change the strings. This guitar is a Harley Benton Fusion 2 guitar. As you can see, it has a Floyd Rose tremolo, 2 Roosevelt humbuckers, and this model is coming with a maple fretboard, maple neck, and usually they come with I think the Dario strings and the gauges maybe 10s, 46, which is common for many players, but for me personally I like to have a little bit more tension in the bottom strings for tight riff playing, so I prefer a string gauge from 10 to 52. But those are a little bit more thicker strings, at least the D, A and E string. So I'm changing the strings. I will not show you that now, because I think if you are getting a Floyd Rose, it's you know how to change the strings. But if you change to strings with another gauge, usually you have to adjust the tension of the Floyd Rose. So this is the next thing I'm doing. When I'm tuning the new set of strings, you will come to the point where you can see that suddenly the tremolo will go up, because the strings, the thicker strings, cause more tension than the ones before. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the tension of the springs, and you can do this by using a screwdriver and just drive the 2 screws through the holes in the plastic a little bit more into the body. And usually I'm doing this until the strings are tuned and the Floyd Rose tremolo is straight in line with the bodywork. Otherwise, if it's a little bit coming out or a little bit in the back, maybe you will get problems when you use dive bombs, because the tuning stability is not so good. So I recommend that it should be just straight and flat like the body. Once it is tuned and also the Floyd Rose is in the middle position, the next step I would like to do is I would like to set the height of the strings. So I don't like it too low, because if you set the strings too low, then you will have maybe some fret buzz when you are playing in some regions, and also your bendings and your notes may lose sustain, because the strings cannot swing so well. So I rather like to set it a little bit higher, but of course it's something which is depending on your preferences. Anyway, the next thing I'm doing is first, if the Floyd Rose tremolo is a little bit too high, I will just lower it a little bit by turning this wrench clockwise until it's, I don't know if you can see, but now it's maybe about 1 millimeter coming out of the body. And well, I found out it depends on the guitar and also on the neck material sometimes, but I'm doing this until it's around the 24th and 22nd fret, okay for me. So mostly I end up maybe when the Floyd Rose is coming out a little bit out of the body, but not more than 1 millimeter. With some guitars I have to just make it even flat with the bodywork. Once this is done, then the last but most important step for me is I would like to send the to set the neck straight as I like it. And I'm doing this by using the truss rod adjustment. Luckily the Harley Benton has this truss rod screw here, so you can adjust it. And the thing is, depending on your strings and also depending on your environment, if it's a little bit cold in the winter time or summertime, you have to adjust the truss rod, because the string, the wood, is maybe working, and it will change the tension a little bit. And I'd like to set the neck straight, which means I try that every thread has the same space to the string. And yeah, there are two ways to turn the truss rod adjustment. One is like, if you're looking from here to the headstock, it's like clockwise, and you have to turn it clockwise when you have some I like to call it some belly in the middle. So if the neck is more like a U shape, in this case you have to turn the truss rod adjustment clockwise, looking from this direction here to the headstock, and clockwise is this direction. And I recommend you should be a little bit careful. You should not take it too strong, because the neck might get broken if you set it too strong. But as long as you can do it, I think with one finger, it's still okay, and it will not damage the neck. And mostly with my string gauge, I end up somewhere where it's already a little bit hard to push it more clockwise. But I found out with the Harley Benton models, with the ones with the roasted neck and roasted fretboard, they seem to have a little bit different behavior. So with the models with the roasted neck, I'd rather set it in another direction to make it straight, because maybe, I don't know, maybe the wood is a little bit more stronger. So that is something I discovered. But overall, you have to adjust the guitar to your taste. And I know some people, they may like it if it's a little bit like in U shape, because then you have here maybe if you're playing mainly in this area solo stuff, then it's maybe nice to have here a little bit position where your notes can sing. But for me personally, I like to have it rather straight, and so with the Harley Bentons I end up mostly it's already set straight in this direction. Okay, the last thing I would like to show you is some trick that I'm doing, especially with the Roswell pickups. To be honest, in my opinion, or for my taste, most pickups I know, they have a little bit too much output, and I like to have the pickup with not so much output, but rather set the gain setting in the amp higher. And especially with the Roswell pickups, I found them to be a little bit harsh. So what I do is I tend to set them really low, and I'm doing this by just driving the screws a little bit more into the body, and the space between for example, the bridge humbucker and the strings is, well, as I can see, it's about maybe 5 millimeters, sometimes even a little bit lower. So it's quite low for many people. You may have to adjust the gain in the amp and set it higher in the amp. But I found out if you lower them, then you don't have too much of a noise, or also not so many harsh top end. So these are my tips for adjusting a two-point tremolo guitar. In this case, the Harley Benton Fusion model. I got some other Fusion models with the HSH configuration, the Wilkinson tremolo. And the steps are basically the same, so you can apply them to the version with the Wilkinson tremolo also. The one difference is that the Wilkinson tremolo is sitting in my to my taste maybe about 1 or 2 millimeters over the body, so that you can make a little bit of an upbending. Mostly I'm using down bendings, but it's I also set it in parallel to the body, so just with 1 or 2 millimeters space in between. Okay, I hope I could help you with these tips to adjust your 2-point tremolo guitar, your Harley Benton Fusion if you own one, but also works with other guitars. And yeah, please like, subscribe, enter comments below in the comment section, or send me cash as always. Bye.